हेलो एवरीवन। तो लास्ट क्लास में हमने क्या देखा था? सेंट्रीफ्यूगल कंप्रेसर के बारे में, उसका कंस्ट्रक्शन, उसकी वर्किंग, वेलोसिटी डायग्राम देखा था, वर्क डन कितना होता है उसमें वो देखा था, और फिर कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर्मूले देखे थे। इस क्लास में ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ ऑल दोज थिंग्स वी विल ट्राई टू सॉल्व टू न्यूमेरिकल। ओके, तो लेट्स स्टार्ट विथ न्यूमेरिकल। एग्जाम में न्यूमेरिकल आने के बहुत ज़्यादा चांसेस है इसके। तो स्टार्ट करते हैं अपन। ये वेलोसिटी डायग्राम आपको ऑलरेडी दिख रहा है, यही स्टैंडर्ड वेलोसिटी डायग्राम रहेगा अपना। ठीक है, और इसी को बेस बनाते हुए अपने को अपना न्यूमेरिकल सॉल्व करना है। तो द प्रॉब्लम इज a centrifugal compressor used as a supercharger for aero engine handles 1 kg per minute of air. So mass flow rate is given. We have to convert this 150 kg per minute into kg per second by dividing it by 60. Okay. The suction pressure and temperature are 1 bar and 290 Kelvin. It is given suction pressure and temperature. It is not given total suction pressure and temperature. So it is telling about static pressure and temperature. So 1 bar is static pressure and 1 bar 290 Kelvin is static temperature at inlet. Suction pressure means at inlet, that is P1 is equal to 1 bar and T1 is equal to 290 Kelvin. The suction velocity is 80 meter per second, means inlet velocity is 80 meter per second, that is C1. Okay. After compression in the impeller, the condition are 1.5 bar and 220 meter per second. After crossing the impeller, work is done on the air and its pressure increases to 1.5 bar and its velocity increases to 220, means P2 is 1.5 bar and C2 is 220 meter per second. So it is asking to calculate isentropic efficiency, power required to drive the compressor, and overall efficiency of the unit. In overall efficiency, we have to consider impeller as well as diffuser. Okay, so let's start by writing the given condition. One condition is given that it is assumed that kinetic energy of air gained in impeller is entirely converted into pressure in diffuser. Means whatever kinetic energy it is getting, it is increasing in impeller, the whole kinetic energy is converted into pressure energy in diffuser. As we know that diffuser convert kinetic head into pressure head. तो डिफ्यूज़र क्या कर रहा है, हम यहाँ पे एज्यूम क्या कर रहे हैं कि जितनी काइनेटिक एनर्जी इम्पेलर में गेन हुई, बिकॉज वर्क इज डन ऑन द गैस इन इम्पेलर, तो इम्पेलर रोटेट करके वर्क कर रहा है, तो वेलोसिटी जितनी गेन हुई वो पूरी की पूरी वेलोसिटी किस पे कन्वर्ट हो जा रही है, प्रेशर में कन्वर्ट हो जा रही है इन डिफ्यूज़र। हमने उसका प्रोफाइल देखा था लास्ट क्लास में कि आधा प्रेशर, ऑलमोस्ट आधा प्रेशर इम्पेलर में इंक्रीज होता है और आधा डिफ्यूज़र में इंक्रीज होता है। इम्पेलर में जो प्रेशर इंक्रीज होता है वो वर्क कर रहा है इम्पेलर, इसलिए बढ़ता है, तो वहाँ पे वेलोसिटी भी बढ़ती है, और जो बढ़ी हुई वेलोसिटी है वो डिफ्यूज़र में कम होती है और वो प्रेशर एनर्जी में कन्वर्ट होती है। तो लेट्स स्टार्ट बाय राइटिंग गिवन. So here m is converted into kg per second, P1 T1, C1 is given, P2 T2 and C2 is given. So we have to calculate first isentropic efficiency. Okay, so let's start with isentropic efficiency. We know this formula, T2 dash by T1 is equal to P2 by P1 to the power gamma minus 1 by gamma. Everything is given here. T1 is given, P2 is given, P1 is given, so T2 dash can be calculated easily, and it is 325.6 Kelvin. Okay, it is 325.6 Kelvin. So isentropic work done. Isentropic work done is, the work done we know that Cp is, W is equal to Cp T2 minus T1, but here I am talking about isentropic work, so I have to take T2 dash, and again kinetic energy will also come into account here, that is C2 square minus C1 square by 2 into, so divided by 2 into 1000. Okay, 1000 is to convert this kinetic energy in kilojoule, because here Cp is in kilojoule 1.005, so here we have to divide it by 1000 so that kinetic head is converted into kilojoule. C2 square minus C1 square by 2 kinetic energy is converted into kilojoule. Okay, so we have to divide it by 1000. Now substituting the value of Cp 1.005, T2 dash just we have calculated, T1 it is given 290, C2 is given 220 minus 80, T1 is given. After solving this we get isentropic work done to be 56.78. We know that isentropic efficiency is a ratio of isentropic work done by actual work done. So we get isentropic work done by formula Cp T2 dash minus T1 plus C2 square minus C1 square by 2000. Okay. Now actual work done, we have to replace this T2 dash by T2. Just we have to replace this T2 dash by T2, and T2 is given in the question. So in place of T2 dash, that is 325.6, we have to write 345, and the remaining formula will remain same. Okay, so isentropic work done, because work is done by the system, by the impeller, so actual work done will be more than this isentropic work done. Let's see how actual work is done can be calculated. Now here same formula is used, but T2 dash is replaced by T2 because actual compression is happening up to 2, and isentropic compression is happening up to 2 dash. Now again we have to substitute the values, so we will get actual work done 76.27. It is obviously more than isentropic work done. Okay, so next isentropic efficiency can be calculated as isentropic work by actual work, and it is coming out 74.45%. Very simple. Okay, now power required to drive the compressor. Now we know power is mass flow rate into work done in the impeller. Okay, work done we have already calculated it. Actual work done 76.27. Okay, we have to multiply it by mass flow rate, which has been given in the question, that is 2.5 kg per second. So we can get power required to drive the compressor 190.67 kilowatt. Again very simple. Last is overall efficiency of the unit. Here it is given in the question that it is assumed that all kinetic energy gained in the impeller is converted into pressure in diffuser. Okay? Hence the kinetic energy gained in the impeller is C2 square minus C1 square by 2000, okay, in terms of kilojoule, and it is converted into pressure. So we can write Cp T3 minus T2 means pressure is increasing, so the temperature is also increasing. So because of this increase in pressure, temperature will increases to T3. After coming out of the impeller, temperature is increases from T1 to T2, but after coming from diffuser, the temperature will increases from T2 to T3, because again here pressure is increasing with the loss of kinetic energy, and with increasing pressure temperature will also increase. So when we substitute all the value, we get the value of T3 means temperature of air coming out of the diffuser. Okay, one T3 is unknown, but rest all the values are known, so we can calculate the value of T3 easily, that is coming out 365.9 Kelvin. So this is the temperature of air when it is coming out of the diffuser. Okay, now again in between 2 to 3 we can apply this formula, that is T3 by T2 is equal to P3 by P2 is equal to gamma minus 1 by gamma, because it is again a adiabatic process. So from here T3 is known, T2 is known, P2 is known, so we can calculate P3 as gamma will remain 1.4. Okay, so P3 can be calculated, and it is coming out to be 1.843 bar. Okay, so we get here P3 as well. After isentropic compression, the delivery temperature from diffuser will become T3 dash. T3 we have calculated, that is actual temperature. Now if it is in diffuser also there is isentropic compression, so we have to calculate the value of T3 dash. So T3 dash 1 to 3 there will be direct isentropic compression we are assuming. If there is isentropic compression, we will get a vertical straight line right from entering the air into the impeller to the exit to the diffuser. We get continuously isentropic process in between 1 to 3 dash. So it can be written as T3 dash by T1 is equal to P3 by P1 to the power gamma minus 1. Now we are applying this in between 1 to 3. We are avoiding point 2, as everywhere it is isentropic compression. We are assuming that if compression occurs isentropic. So we get T3 dash from here, that is 345.39 Kelvin. Now overall efficiency can be calculated as T3 dash minus T1 upon T3 minus T1. Okay, T3 dash minus T1 overall efficiency means isentropic temperature rise divided by actual temperature rise. Isentropic temperature rise is T3 dash minus T1. Actual temperature rise means T3 minus T1. So we get overall efficiency to be 72.98%. Okay, so if it is asking overall efficiency, so we have to apply the formula between point 1 and point 3. Point 1 is inlet of impeller, point 2 is outlet of impeller and inlet of diffuser, and point 3 is outlet of diffuser. Okay, so this is very simple problem. This kind of problem only come in the exam. Okay, next, a centrifugal compressor handles 528 kg per minute of air. Again, mass flow rate is given. We have to divided by 60 to get the flow rate in terms of kg per second. The ambient air conditions are 1 bar and 20 degree centigrade. E1 and T1 it is given. The compression runs at 20,000 rpm. N is given with isentropic efficiency 80%. Okay. So isentropic efficiency is given. The air is compressed in the compressor from 1 bar static pressure to 4 bar total pressure. Now see, here 1 bar P1 static pressure is given and it is compressed in impeller to 4 bar total pressure, means P02 is given, not P2 is given. 4 bar is not P2, it is P02 because it is given 4 bar total pressure. Okay. The air enters the impeller with a velocity of 145. Again C1 is given with no preval, means we have to consider CW1 to be 0. Okay. Assuming that the ratio of whirl speed to TP speed is 0.9. Ratio it is given, what ratio? The ratio of whirl speed to TP speed. Okay. Then calculate rise in total temperature during compression if the change in kinetic energy is negligible. The tip diameter of the impeller, power required. Okay, so 3 things it is asking. So first we have to write given. So M is given, P1 is given, T1 we have to convert 20 degree into Kelvin. N is given 20,000 rpm. Isentropic efficiency is given 80%. P02 is given because total pressure is given here. P02 is 4 bar. C1 is 145 and ratio of whirl speed to TP speed. TP speed means blade speed at outlet. It is given 0.9. So let's start first with rise in total temperature during compression if the kinetic energy is neglected. Okay. So here we have to calculate T01 first. Okay. So T01 is static temperature, is total temperature is static temperature plus kinetic head. We have to consider kinetic head here. C1 square by 2 into Cp, because we have seen that there is a difference of C1 square by 2 Cp between static value and stagnation value, because static value gets converted into stagnation value. When kinetic energy reduces to 0, it will give value of stagnation quantities. Okay. So T01 is equal to T1 plus C1 square by 2 Cp. So after substituting the values of every term, as we know, Cp is 1.005. Again we have to divide it by 1000 to convert it in kilojoule, because 293 this is 1.005 is in kilojoule, so we have to convert it in joule. So we have to multiply here 1000 to convert this 1.005 into joule. So we get T01 to be 303.5 Kelvin. Okay. So we get total temperature, total head temperature at inlet is 303.5 Kelvin, where static temperature is 293 Kelvin. Okay. Let's move forward. This is the compression process. It is shown here from 1 to 2 in impeller. It is 0.1 static value, 2 dash isentropic compression, 1 to 2 actual compression. Again in terms of total head, 01 to 02 dash isentropic compression, 01 to 02 total actual compression. And this, the difference between 1 and 01 is C1 square by 2 Cp, and here the difference between 2 and 02 is Cp square by 2 Cp. Okay. So we can write, we can apply isentropic process between 1 and 2. Okay. 1 off and 101 between static temperature inlet temperature and stagnation inlet temperature. So we can write T01 by T1 is equal to T01 by T1 to the power gamma minus 1 by gamma. Here T01 is known, T1 is known, T1 is known. So we can calculate T01 as gamma is again 1.4. So from here we get T01 to be 1.313 bar. So we get total stagnation value at inlet temperature we get, and pressure we get stagnation value. Okay. Now if we apply the formula between total values, stagnation values between 01 and 02, so we can write in between 01 and 02 dash, we can write T02 dash by T01 is equal to P02 by P01 to the power gamma minus 1 by gamma. Again here P02 it is given in the question, 4 bar. P01 we have just calculated, T01 we have calculated earlier, so we get T02 dash. Okay. So T02 dash we get 435.5 Kelvin. Therefore isentropic rising temperature, so isentropic rising temperature will be T02 dash minus T01. Okay. T01 we have calculated and actual rise in temperature, it is isentropic efficiency is given 80%. So isentropic temperature rise divided by isentropic efficiency will give actual rise in temperature 165, which is asked in the question, actual rise in temperature. So first we have calculated isentropic rise in total temperature 132, and we have divided it by isentropic efficiency, because isentropic efficiency is isentropic temperature rise by actual temperature rise. Okay, we have seen that this formula in previous example. Second is tip diameter of impeller. So we know that work consumed by the compressor is Cp into del T. Del T is already we have calculated. Actual rise in temperature 165 into 1.005, it will give 165.8 kilojoule per kg. Again, work consumed by compressor is also given by Euler equation, as the condition is without preval that Cw1 is 0. So work done can be written as Cw2 Cbl2 by 1000 to convert it in kilojoule. So Cw2 is velocity of whirl at outlet, and Cbl2 is velocity of blade at outlet. Okay, so work is, we know Cw2 by Cbl2 is given 0.9, but the ratio is given. So here two unknowns are there, so we can replace it by one unknown by writing Cw2 in terms of Cbl2. Okay, so Cw2 is equal to 0.9 Cbl2. Now substituting this Cw2 in the formula of W, so we can calculate the value of Cw2. So from here it will become Cw2L2 square, and Cbl2 we get 429.2 meter per second. So this is blade velocity at outlet. Again, this velocity is also P pi d2n by 60. Okay, so Cbl2 is equal to 429.2 is equal to pi d2n by 60. We have already learned this formula so many times. So what we have to calculate? We have to calculate diameter at the tip, which is d2. So Cbl2 is we have just find out, and is given in the question. After substituting all the values, we get d2 is equal to 0.4098 meter. Okay. Next, power required. Power required, we know m into w. So m is given, w we have already calculated 165. So after substituting this, we can get power required 1469. Okay. So these two problems are simple problem, but very important problems in as per IGPU exam. Both the problems are already asked in IGPU exam in previous years. Okay, so in next class we will study little bit theory of width of blades and lot of other things like slip factor, power input factor, pressure coefficient, and we will also do numerical related to those topics. Okay, thank you.